In a land akin to feudal-era Japan, a strange scene can be observed playing out. In the courtyard of a magistrate's office, an execution is about to take place. The condemned is a young ninja named Gabimaru, with hair as white as snow and eyes as dead as a corpse's. This execution is to be beheading. Now, normally, such a form of execution in this era with a simple katana would certainly take more than a couple of swings, but not more than a handful still. This is where the strangeness of the scene fully kicks in. The executioner's blade comes down onto the man's neck. Once, twice, thrice. It comes down in a powerful swing over and over again, and yet the young man's head remains intact, not even a scratch being made on his skin. As the swing continue, the 10th one is the end of this execution, not because the boy finally falls, but because the blade itself breaks on contact. As the magistrate, his cohorts, and the executioner all find themselves baffled, the young man looks most disappointed of all. Why can't he just die? Why won't he die? He has no attachment to life. In his mind's eye, he's little more than a monster with a mountain of corpses to his name. That night in his holding cell, the man is met by a woman of grace and status. With a brush and parchment in hand, she asks him questions and records the details of his life. Of the circumstances that led to him being here, a prisoner condemned to execution. Gabimaru, a resident of the shinobi village of Iwagakure. From childhood, he studied nothing but assassination techniques to become the perfect killer. During the training of Iwagakure's shinobi, they are put through the most hellish and torturous experiences possible. But just as the suffering is extreme, so too is the reward for surviving it. Those who get through the training develop superhuman bodies. That is why a mere blade could never hope to succeed in executing him, especially when wielded by a completely average executioner. Gabimaru finally participates in the conversation to confirm this, saying he didn't even have to use any ninjutsu to stop it. The woman asks him if he'll show her some ninjutsu if he can really use it. Since it's only for her personal interest though, he declines. The next day, the magistrate has prepared a new method to attempt executing Gabimaru. This time he is to be burned at the stake. An execution method of extreme pain. The scorching heat makes the muscles shrink so much they break the bones themselves. Much to the magistrate's rage and the men's terror, the flames are unable to so much as give him a small burn. That night, the woman returns to his cell once more, asking more questions for her records. Gabimaru sits in his shackles, his clothing scorched off from the fire. He insists that he's not trying to resist the executions and asks for some clothes. The woman shows indifference to this thought, telling him to just continue his story. Gabimaru tries to tell her there's nothing interesting to hear, but the woman simply says that it is her job and repeats her request. Tired of arguing, Gabimaru gives in and tells her of his past. As a baby, his parents were murdered by the village chief. To this day, he has no clue why, and since he was too young to know them, he claims to feel nothing on the matter either. From then on, the chief had Gabimaru raised to become an assassin. Gabimaru states he has no dreams, no ambitions. A shinobi's sole purpose is to kill what they're told to kill. The woman then asks Gabimaru what he's in for. After a moment's thought, he admits he tried to leave the village, an act that is forbidden in Iwagakure. Some comrades turned in Gabimaru to the village chief when they learned of his plan. Almost immediately, he was put to death. The woman simply asks why he tried to leave the village if he knew that. The next day, the magistrate attempts a new execution method by tying his limbs to two bulls and having them run in opposite directions. He'll have Gabimaru ripped clean in two. The woman watches on as the process begins. Right as the cows are released and reach full speed, Gabimaru unconsciously jerks his legs together, pulling the bulls back and knocking them out. This does not go unnoticed by the woman. Instantly, she goes up to Gabimaru and tells him it's quite strange that he would insist he has no will to live, and yet he clearly resisted against death just now. She asks once more, why did he try to leave the village? Finally, Gabimaru gives in and starts speaking. He talks of how he had become the best in Iwagakure. With the chief's recognition, he married his daughter. Only she was an absolute a sheltered, carefree, naive girl. She tried to make him more than a mere killer. She tried to bring some humanity to him, to teach him things he'd never known before. Gabimaru got fed up with her. Before long, not wanting to lose his edge, when he went to the chief with this concern, he was set up and arrested. Something he allowed because he knew he'd be followed constantly even if he escaped. As of that moment, he'd simply given up on everything. That night, one of the helpers in the compound is accompanying the woman on a walk. While moving, he apologizes for speaking out of turn, but says he must warn her to stay away from Gabimaru, or as he's otherwise known, Garen no Gabimaru. Gabimaru the Hollow, an assassin with no blood or tears. no emotions to speak of, and a blade as ruthless as his spirit. When he was arrested, he killed 20 men before being captured. He speaks of a rumor that Iwagakure shinobi drink an elixir of immortality from Shinsenkyo. This catches the woman's attention, but she doesn't speak further on it. Instead, she asks, why would a truly hollow man fight back with such resolve that he killed 20 people? In his cell, Gabimaru thinks on the woman's words from before about how he resisted death. When he thinks about it, he realizes he's actively been using his strength to resist the executions. Does he really not want to die? What attachments does he even have to life anymore? Whatever the case, he'll be sure to end this for tomorrow for good. Tomorrow comes, bringing with it another execution, death by boiling lava. But yet again, Gabimaru survives, his subconscious forcing him to endure it all. The man is baffled, not understanding why this is happening. The next execution takes place in an underground chamber. After being led inside by the magistrate and his men, Gabimaru is confused by the sight before him. The woman who's been recording his story stands in front of him in battle attire. As it turns out, she's no mere inspector. This woman is a sword tester for Edo, Yamada Asemon Sagiri, the executioner. Coming from the Yamada Asemon clan, who has been sword testers and executioners for generations, she will be the one to end Gabimaru. Sagiri announces she has orders from the shogun to execute him. Since he himself wishes for death, she shall now grant that wish. Suddenly, Gabimaru sees a vision of her blade removing his head. The thought of actually losing his life spurs Gabimaru's body into action. Even as he struggles to understand why, he fights against this execution. Sagiri closes the distance between them with immense speed and brings her sword down towards his head. At the last moment, Gabimaru dodges out of the way, flipping to a stop on the other side of the room. As he touches his palm to the shallow cut in his neck from that single swing, Sagiri asks once more, why does he resist when he claims to want death? As she dashes forward with another swing, Gabimaru dodges out of the way once more. Turning to face Gabimaru, Sagiri starts speaking. She talks of her experience as an executioner and how easy someone's true nature is to see in those last moments. Some act brave and some fight back. Some beg for mercy and some lie to themselves that they've accepted death just to make it easier for themselves. Gabimaru is one of these. After recording his story, she's sure of it. There's certainly an emptiness within him and he has certainly suffered. But he lied about one crucial detail. He does have an attachment in life, his wife. He loves her with everything he has. Even when he tried, he couldn't hide that. Hearing this forces Gabimaru to remember all the times he felt soothed by her softness, her innocent looks, her acceptance of him, her efforts to make him happier, to make him better. His emotions finally burning back up, Gabimaru steals a sword from a nearby guard and rushes at Sagiri in one swift movement. As the two clash blades, Sagiri pushes harder and harder with her words, saying that he couldn't die because he still wants to be with her. Infuriated, Gabimaru pushes her away, screams that she doesn't know the world he's lived in, and leaps forward to clash blades. As he does so, his mind returns to a happier time. His wife truly saw the good in him, and she wanted him to accept it as well. She showed him nothing but love, acceptance, and faith. Despite this, she could never fully hide her sadness at his work as an assassin. Gabimaru hated that he made her feel this way, so he came to a decision. He would leave his life as a killer and live a quiet, ordinary life somewhere with his wife. He would make her just as happy as she makes him. Believing the chief would want the best for his daughter as well, he went to ask that he allow this. That is when he was set up and captured. That is when his life came crashing down around him, and his wife was taken away from him. Reliving those memories only fuels Gabimaru's rage. As he swings his blade at Sagiri, he yells out that it's impossible for him to get any of that back, to be human again, or ever. Before his swing can follow through, Sagiri yells back that it is possible to bring out a scroll from the shogun himself, a full pardon for all his crimes, and protection from the shogunate itself. With this, neither Iwagakure nor the magistrate can lay a hand on him. This isn't for free, of course. To receive this pardon, Gabimaru must agree to go to the underworld, Shinsenkyo, a land far to the southwest, a mystical place where the immortality-granting elixir of life can be found. Unfortunately, all those sent after it have returned dead, large parts of their bodies transformed into flowers. Criminals put to death have been extended this offer from the shogun. The one who secures the elixir of life and brings it back will be given the rewards stated. On her way here, Sagiri heard Gabimaru's wife is still in Iwagakure. Since his arrest, she's closed herself off from the outside, waiting patiently for him to return to her. After learning this, Gabimaru doesn't have to think for even a moment. Before he can speak, though, the magistrate orders his forces to kill the two. He refuses to allow this prisoner to escape, as he goes on an ego-fueled rant. Gabimaru steals his resolve for what is to come. He tells Sagiri that she's about to see the ninjutsu she was so curious about. With a fierce breath, she releases a hellish flame from his body. Ninpo ascetic blaze. In a moment, all the enemies are brought to their knees, beaten or crushed. With nothing left to stop him, he turns to Sagiri and gives her his decision. He'll do it. He'll go to Shinsenkyo. He'll compete with whatever he has to do to get that elixir elixir. He will see his wife again, and he'll bring her all the happiness she deserves.
Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recaps. And while you're at it, check out this new anime recap appearing on the screen.